I have a very strong opinion with this Camelot project. And it seems to be the agenda to provide information we need to hear that scares the shit out of you. And I've noticed that their agenda is not to find any solutions. They're not looking for any information or any technology that helps you overcome all the big bad problems that they're unfolding. So I'm kind of really against this project because it just appears like the agenda is about scaring the shit out of humanity. And while you're scared and in fear, you're so easily being manipulated and controlled. And I'm watching this video that is, I've had a few emails. I watched um, an introduction to this video that it kind of had me, okay, why are they doing this? And basically it was all, big long video of, I'm about to tell you a big, huge, bad story, look for it. So it was almost like a video on a commercial of something they're going to tell you, that they're not going to release this information until a lot of time goes by. So you're going to hear bits and pieces about how big and scary it is. So what are you going to do? You're anticipating something really, really scary. You're going to be scared of all the information you heard. What was the purpose of that? I mean, how did that benefit anybody other than, okay, keep an eye on Aden or Eden or however they're pronouncing it. All of the warships are all over there. We've all had this big commercial from the Camelot to say something really big and bad, and the worst thing that you can imagine is happening there. So you're going to pay attention to it when you see it. It's going to be something that you're scared out of your mind about, and then you're going to be looking forward to this next video of this guy telling you his story. And it's almost like, is that the game that's being played? I mean, I'm watching this guy's video right now, and he's telling some pretty big bad stories. I tend to believe a lot of that shit is probably true, but right now these Illuminatis are trying to let everything they know be known, because that's how you can be manipulated the most, is let you know how bad and how much power we've got over you. Let me scare the shit out of you so you can see exactly how much control I have over you and how no control you have over yourself. Everybody's sort of operating as deer in headlights because we're being bombarded by all of this information of how horrible they're, destroying the planet. While we're a deer in headlights, we're not taking any control over ourselves. We're kind of losing our minds, which is what they want to do. And the more you lose everything, the more you will lose your mind. Happened to me. But kind of have some, if you're calm, you'll see that you're not losing your mind, you're gaining your mind. And it just seems like that's the agenda, is to get you scared. And I'm kind of leery about anything that I see and watch that comes out of the Camelot project, because I'm kind of observing it. Okay, what is it you want me to see? And how bad do you want me to see it? And do you really want me to feel like I have no control? Are you trying to get me scared? And I kind of look at any of their videos from that perspective, and gain my own control as I watch it. But it does reveal a lot of information. And they found that, if you torture somebody, a survival instinct unfolds, a human power not known to man. If you abuse somebody hard enough, they will develop a multiple personality disorder. Science has kind of discovered that it is a form of time traveling. These entities that take over, they actually have a name, they have a time frame that they lived in, and they've been able to go back into history and find out that, hey, this guy was real. He knew all of this. And the person that's, the body's being invaded by, they have no idea that this person actually exists. They have no way in their life could have done that level of research to find that specific person. So, the big scientists, have kind of seen that you can do some time traveling if you abuse somebody. So what are they doing? They're trying to abuse people so that they can use the people that they've abused to access these special powers that can be done through it. Um, Astral projecting, that's just like looking at a pattern. If you can see a pattern, then you can go into somebody else's world and see what it is they're doing. It is accessing an information field to see what you can see, but it's not going into the future. It's not going anywhere. You're just not recognizing your own potential of going within your own timeline of what's in your own mind. And the process of this is to put yourself in their shoes. What would they do? And the more you can use your intuition and communicate with somebody else by putting yourself in their shoes, and having them sort of be inside you so you can understand them better. What would I do if I was in their shoes? Kind of thing. And that's how you can manipulate and control people, because through intuition you can actually put suggestions in there. So they're really trying to do a lot of harm to these black ops. Like that's why it's all full of torture, because they are starting to use special powers that they're using as weapons. So use the bigger message and see that, okay, in order to do harm to somebody, they're learning of our fuller potential. They're not using it, right? Because they're all friggin' insane. But if you can see what these people are unfolding, you have the same capabilities. You just don't know it. But knowing it and knowing how to use it without being abused, without going through the evilness that you have to in order to access that, you can do the same thing. The problem is, it's somewhat insane. Why would you want to do any time traveling? What is the purpose? Really, really think about that. That's why it is a mental illness, is because you can't handle your now, and you think you need to go into a different time frame and handle the problem somewhere there. But that never works. The only way you can heal somebody from a multiple personality is by treating everybody as individuals and saying, why don't you solve the problem within your own timeline, within your own self, within your own powers? So a lot of these powers, these special powers that they are accessing for evil, it's only insanity. So it's like, well, you can see this potential that you have. Do you really want to use it? Because it is a form of insanity. You have to be in your now and know that you have powers that control your now, control our reality. We can't go out in, anybody that's got a multiple personality doesn't tend to go within time in the future. Why? Because there's too many time frames. There's nothing set in stone yet, because there's a 0 point. You, at any time, you can take an infinite number of directions to take, and depending on who's influencing will determine which path you want to take. So you can assume, you can use all of your best abilities to predict where the future path is if somebody's going to go into, but you can't predict the whole world. And while you're going to assume that this person's going to, you can predict because of who he hangs around with, that guy might be influenced by a total stranger that you don't know he's about to cross paths with, and that total stranger could get him off a different path, which will create a different future, which will create somebody different in the future. That's why you can't time travel in the future, because there's way too many possibilities out there. And in the end, it's like, why would you want to go in the future and solve any problems in the future when you should be solving it now? And the future will unfold perfectly if you can solve the problem now. So just be aware, if this Project Camelot is really out for something good, then they should be saying something that actually makes you feel good, makes you feel like you have a sense of power. Too much information that's nothing but fear just creates fear, and that's sort of the agenda. So are they, and at the same time, this guy that they're doing interviewing with, it's like he's already saying that if they have no use for you, they'll kill you. So how come this guy's alive and to tell the story? Obviously, because they don't want to kill him. Obviously, the job that he's supposed to do is tell the big bad story. Why? Because it would get us a little scared. So I would just be aware of this Project Camelot. View it, but don't view it with fear and a sense of lack of control. Peace out.